When I first heard of an Elden Ring manga, I was worried, to say the least. I didn't want such an incredible game to be tarnished by an unnecessary attempt to retell a story so heavily based on imagination because of its silent narrative. Besides, who even asked for it? But when I saw that it was going to be a parody instead, I felt relieved. Still, seeing Asao, the main character, with the ecstasies stuck on his butt, I thought this story wouldn't really be for me. I've grown out of that kind of humor, and I know we are not in Dark Souls, but that's what I've been calling the flasks all this time. Anyway, back when I gave a quick look at the manga months ago, it was probably not the right time for me. While I still really like bizarre comedy, it can give me a good chuckle when not annoying. So last week I dived back in and I liked everything more than I thought. Asao is a pretty funny protagonist. Just like the player on their first playthrough, he's in the middle of a beautiful world, but nobody seems to be friendly, and one of the manga's strongest perks is surely the sarcasm that accompanies Asao as he questions characters that clearly act according to a script at first, since they're no more than NPCs, only to break free from the coding and react to what Aseo tells or does to them. For example, Varre, right at the beginning, calls him maidenless, and deservedly gets attacked and put in his place, though I'm sure the outcome must have been different for those players who didn't keep calm. Then there is the Hereditary Knight, doing his things. I can imagine Miyazaki's face when he put that big guy right at the start just to trick newbies. Out of curiosity, I searched for the Hereditary Knight's team on YouTube and found this gem of a comment under it. I should mention how accurate the environment looks. The art is truly amazing, and it's evident that this story is made by a Souls veteran, someone who has a lot of respect for the source material and who's extremely aware of the memes in the community. For example, Kayleigh is portrayed as deadly as ever. There are jokes on fashion Souls too, since Aseo seems to have no taste. I love how he complains about the huge lobsters and bears, because he's more of a cat person, which instantly made him a likable character for me. As said before, the dialogue of the NPCs plays the same at the start, but eventually Aseo triggers some new lines, for better or for worse. Definitely. Even discovering new sides to their personalities, like Blythe's, who's a bit obsessed with Rani, so much that he's part of a fan club dedicated to creating dolls modeled after her, and for this reason alone, one may say that the manga was better, because at least there are covenants. Even if Asao is his own person, not intended to be the avatar of some external player going through the video game, he surely acts like one. His starting class is the Wretch, which is also what I started as. It's a pretty try-hard choice, considering you get no armor and the weapons stick, but it gets the job done. Although here Asao looks more like someone who cannot afford clothes. Moreover, he's so very confused, and just like any new player, he has no idea what the characters are saying or where to go. At least Elden Ring is not as punishing as Dark Souls. I remember going down the catacombs when I first got to Firelink Shrine. I need to say no more. Melina is also way more present here, but she mostly appears to level up Aseo's intelligence stat, as he seems to be even dumber than he looks. She's basically a babysitter, seeing how much he likes goofing around, neglecting the main story in favor of exploring the open world like a real player. He even gets scammed into working for Patch's Emporium, and the business seems to be doing very well in the lands between. Then there is Margit, who's a walking Wikipedia. I have got to love how the first wall in Elden Ring gives Aseo tips like NPCs to talk to, farming locations to get stronger, or find armor dropped by enemies, which he's not equipped since he's a bit of a germaphobe. Not going to lie, I had the same thought when I got loot. Must be the post-COVID era. And what does Aseo do with all this help? He just ignores it and skips past him. As said before, many characters' personalities are completely reinterpreted to support the humor of the story, from Godric being a grafting enthusiast and very positive person, or people, considering how many pieces of men and women he has. Anyway, he gives off such a wholesome vibe. To Blythe being low on intelligence too, he chases this poo scarab as any dog would do really. At least Aseo managed to find Melina and Margit before I did. I still have this screenshot of my first playthrough when I traveled all the way to the top of the map, getting into unimaginable places like down this well, you can see my souls there, because I'd completely missed the road for Margit. I kept walking north instead of turning left at some point, and I didn't even rest at the bonfires where you're supposed to meet Melina, so I couldn't level up and I didn't have Torrent either, the horse. All the while I met NPCs, got outside of Raya Lucaria, couldn't enter. I did many things. I knew I was doing something wrong and I needed a maiden pretty bad, but I just couldn't find one. Which reminds me of when I had to get the Glintstone key to enter the academy, and I thought I had to kill the dragon when I could have just snuck behind it, grabbed the key and gotten out. Whatever. Aseo instead defeated the dragon effortlessly, must have been some main character moment, and seeing such a cool fight scene was very needed for me. A complaint I have for the manga is that it's extremely rare to see action, because of the almost exclusive focus on comedy. The problem is that some chapters are oversaturated with dialogue, and at some point I started feeling fatigued by the wall of text to read, just to crack a joke. It felt suffocating sometimes. That said, the story is still very funny and I do not think there could have been a better choice than making it a parody because of how serious and edgy Elden Ring can be. Anything else would have just failed. Besides, Aseo is just the perfect tarnish to lead this story. Someone as clueless as a new player, and funnily enough, he's the most normal person there. In conclusion, the Elden Ring manga is different from the game. And I'm glad it is.